Hello, Internet. How's it going? I did a Myers-Briggs test, MBTI. I don't, and I thought the results were pretty interesting. So I wanted to. What's interesting about the Myers-Briggs test like website, because it's an official company. I know you can like buy a test and shit like that, but the website records the tests that you've taken in the past, and so I have three recorded tests on my profile and I basically wanted to take a look at them and then take a look at the most recent one and compare and see kind of where I ended up because it's changed. It's changed about three times, and we're gonna take a look here. So the first one that I had recorded. Can I zoom in on this? I want to zoom in. The first test that I had recorded was in August. Oh, it won't let me scroll. Was in May 2021. And I just want to talk about what I had going on at each point in time and compare it to what I just ranked at now. So the first one, it's remained consistent as far as what type of person I am, which is a debater. So that involves a lot of extroversion. As you can see, that's remained consistent across all of the categories. My extroversion. Uh, my extroversion. I'm a thinker more than I am a feeler. So I'm not very specifically religious. I could say I'm spiritual, but I'm way more real world. Way more. What can we prove with facts? Type of thing. I don't want to go. I will go into energy in a second. That's what I want to clue in on. But as far as thinking goes, that's what that is. I forget what prospecting is. Shoot. Let me check that. Let's check that live. Ooh, prospecting versus judging. I do want to check that because that's also remained pretty consistent. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's remained pretty high the entire time. That's the one thing that's remained pretty high. So with oh sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Prospecting versus judging. Prospecting is figuring out things as they go. 76% of the people with the prospecting say it's hard for them to focus on one thing for a long time, compared with 50% of those with a judging trait. And so people that judge are they set specific goals that they hope to accomplish each day. So that if anybody if anybody knows me, you know that I am not the type. I am not. I'm definitely not the set a goal one day and then accomplish that goal. Everything has been day to day, week to week, month to month. We get what we get done, and we set new goals. We discover new things. We have new video ideas, and that's one of the reasons why I'm recording more YouTube videos in this style because I can record this and put it out without any editing, and I have the idea in the moment versus the idea of planning out a video. And I have a couple videos in the queue. I actually downloaded one of my old Lebanon videos that I never edited. It's about 2 hours long. I might not even edit it that much. I might leave it as it is. But the idea of planning out the video, setting a specific goal, hurts my soul, hurts my brain. Okay, and that's remained consistent across all the I can't say years, but across the entire time that I've taken this test, that's remained pretty consistent. Ooh, so I want to get into the parts that have changed, mainly where my energy is coming from and the identity piece of it. I want to go through the energy first, and I think both the identity and the energy have affected the my level of perceived like the level of extroversion that I feel comfortable with. Because I know I am by default. It's my I think there is I feel comfortable alone, but man, I tell you, I feel comfortable alone, but I love being the center of attention. I love getting out there, meeting new people, having new experiences, putting myself out there, being the leader of a group, coming up with new ideas. I mean, I'm a teacher, for God's sake. Get up in front of the room and public speak almost every single day. So, and I make this crazy content. So that's obvious, but these two things have been affected. So let's look at them. Number one, the intuitive versus observant, which I find very interesting. Oh, well, I didn't even talk about what's been going on at these different times. So in 2021 in May, I was like 2 or 3 months returned from Russia, and I was going through a breakup at the time. So life was rough. I was figuring out where I wanted to do with my life. I was in a corporate job that, was broadcasted on TikTok. That was in May 2021. Cool time period. I was either in the progress of moving out to Seattle with a little money, or I had already moved out to Seattle. But my identity. We'll talk about the identity first. Turbulent versus assertive. It was a much more. It was much more turbulent, and this dynamic, turbulent versus assertive. Turbulent means, we'll go through it. People with a turbulent identity say that comparing themselves with others usually results in a negative feeling, compared with 58% of people with assertive identity. So that means turbulent people in general are, more success driven, perfectionistic, eager to improve, but they also have a significant amount of self doubt, and you'll when you're I guess have a more turbulent personality, at least from what I remember about that period. You're more likely to notice the little problems and either becoming anxious about them or notice little problems and try to address them, head on, which is interesting. And I would say, yeah, that time was extremely turbulent for me versus the assertive identity, which is comfortable in the eye of the storm. People with the assertive identity say they feel comfortable, confident facing day-to-day difficulties, compared with turbulent identity. And I would say that the assertive person, I've been in that assertive personality zone for most of my early 20s, because I had to be, because I was learning how to speak to women for most of this period of time. Learning how to speak to women for most of this period of time, and in order to be in any context good, or comfortable with that, you have to be self-assured and resistant to stress. You literally can't worry at all, or I didn't say at all, but worrying and all of that, not part of the plan. And I would say I was so assertive because I had a specific goal, and that was to get better at relationships with women. Really sleep with the most amount of girls. And if I'm being honest, that's what it was. It was my singular goal, and so it wasn't very complicated. So everything in life was kind of on that direction. Where it's making money, we're traveling, going different places. And the successful result is pretty well defined. Did you take somebody home? Did you have a good night? Did you have a good date? XXX. And nothing. And I conditioned myself on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis to deal with the difficulties that I would face on the way to accomplishing that goal. So, I knew I was going to get a shit ton of rejections, and I knew rejections were part of what we needed to go through to get to where we needed to go. I knew that lots of people were going to ghost me. I knew that some people were going to love me, some people were going to fucking hate me, and that was that's obvious. So it's like dwelling on the girl that ghosted you is a waste of time. The best use of your time is to evaluate. Okay, this person ghosted me. What happened? Okay, I could have done this better. Move on. Go to the next situation. Keep it running. That was the best way to evaluate problems and go through. And it worked for work. Because I think that having that singular goal was just good for me in every way. Life was not confusing. But I would say, as we moved into, so I was assertive. I had the assertive personality. I was probably turbulent in high school. We settled down probably up to 18, settled down, and we were in between turbulent and assertive, and then we were assertive for most of 19 to 25, 26, 27. And then I took this test again in January 19th, 2022. And this was after my first tour of of Moscow. When I had, first of all, I'd been to Moscow probably 4 times at this point, and then I'd lived there for 1 month. And the confidence and the godlike nature that I had at the time, that was, for me, that was my best self. Was when I had gone to Moscow for that month and I had killed it. I was the king. I was the absolute king of my domain. Everything I touched turned to gold. Everything the light touched, Simba. Everything the light, everything you see, the light touches. And for me, even the dark parts, even, even the shadows, even the shadows. I'm fucking stupid. Even the shadows. I owned the shadows as well. And so that was like the best moment of life. So I think, as you can see, like 98% extroverted, man. This is insane. Like the numbers here, 98% extroverted, because I was so out. I was out of my head. I think that was the most how do I want to say it? In the moment that I've ever lived. This time was the most in the moment that I've ever lived, and that's where I'll start to talk about the energy, intuitive versus observant. So intuitive personality types. So if you have an N, are people who spend more time thinking about what if scenarios, versus, so there's people that I would describe as live in their head a lot more, whereas the observant personality lives in the moment. What can I do right now to make my life better? What can I do right now to accomplish my goals? This is real time, and I think this is the optimal way of living. I don't even know. Some of these I don't think they're personality traits necessarily. I'll say they're personality traits, but I think they're more malleable than. I think they're extremely malleable, and so yeah, the people with the observant trait are more focused, practical, and you root yourself in tangible, real life, actionable thoughts. And this is, essential for meeting people, meeting girls, being out in the world. The more somebody is in their head, in my opinion. I don't even know why I have this. I don't even know why I have this headphone in, because I'm literally not listening to anything. The more somebody's in their head, the more potentially negative. The more that your head is could come up with different pieces of nonsense to prevent you. Ooh, what if this person doesn't like you? Ooh, what if she kind of looks mean? What if she's mean to you? What if she hurts your feelings? It's like, no, just who cares? There's no what if. Just do the action, do what you need to do, put yourself out there, and see what happens. And I had such a good frame underlying all of my actions that it really lent itself to me, feeling really comfortable with my life. So that's intuitive. Now, I would like to go over, where we are right now. So as you can see, extrovert. So right now, obviously, for some people, right now, I've exited my corporate job, and I'm in this flux, which I've talked about a bunch, and there's a lot of I would say that it was interesting reading this personality test again, and really just having like kind of my feelings validated. The turbulence, I feel extremely turbulent. I have almost I have no confidence in my abilities or in myself or in my skill. Everything is just so up in the air because of all the stuff that happened, and that comes from, number one, maybe it's like, shoot, bro, you should have, there's a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of, I won't say there's regrets, but there's like a lot of thoughts where it's like, number one, I'm not able to do the things that I would like to do, just financially speaking. I want a new computer. I want to be able to edit things. I want a new camera lens. I want to be able to pay a cameraman. But all these things are inaccessible to me because of my past decisions. So, that causes you to question things. And then there's the probably 4 or 5 month period now between now and in the past when I left that job where I had switched over to completely, to making content, but still, even though my only job in the world is to make content, I didn't do enough. I wasn't able to produce enough to get to the place where I would be financially able to take care of myself without, the help of other people or without having to go return to corporate. So then that idea that I wasn't able to accomplish that in that period of time, even with the followers and the clout, just did further undermine the idea of what I should or could be doing. And then the last thing is just where bridges feel like they have been burned, and it feels like there's a lot of things that I would need to do if I wanted to make that same amount of money, and it seems like maybe I'll never make that same amount of money again, or that it'll the moments from here on out will be a grind and be a hustle for the foreseeable future, and and struggling to hold to any sort of schedule, to any sort of routine. All these things kind of have led me into this turbulent state where in turbulent state, and I've nothing. It feels like I have nothing to orient myself around like I did before. I miss that that central purpose of like girls getting better at social skills. I miss that desperately, and my thought before was like, oh, I can just go back to it, but I can't, because it doesn't hold almost any value to me anymore, unfortunately. I've been there, done that, and I've reached to whatever the pinnacle that I imagined when I was 19. I've reached that pinnacle, and so now it's all diminishing returns. Now I go out to the club, and I see a girl dancing, and I think, oh, I would love her. I would love to treat her nice and blah blah blah. Not that I wasn't treating her nice before, but it's not even that. It's more that I look at it. I look at her, and I'm like, I don't even want to do all the things that I would need to do to get this done. I am just not interested. I'll just suffice to say, I'm just literally not interested in a lot of the whole activities that I was doing before. I do a lot of stuff for content. I'll do anything. I'll do a lot of things for content. I mean, because all of those things are still fun. Going to the club is still fun. Meeting new girls, new people is still fun. But it doesn't. But the actual closing, I guess, if you want to call it that, closing, actually sleeping with people, actually pushing it to where it could go, just viscerally uninteresting to me. So it's hard to orient myself around that as a central goal. Content, on the flip side, has also been difficult to orient myself around as a specific goal or as an idea, because I don't want it like I wanted girls. I don't want, I want to be good at it in this kind of abstract, yeah, I'd love to be better. I like making good content. I like making good videos. It's like this it's abstract concept. Like I would love to, but it's not something that I need to do, unfortunately. And I don't know if I can trick my brain into needing it, but I don't need it. It's also hard, money wise. I don't need to make more money. I want to make more money. I would like to, but I also have lived in a car. I've lived. Yeah, everyone saw. I lived in a corporate abandoned corporate building. I've slept in the streets. I've slept everywhere. I've done everything. So I'm not afraid of being broke. I'm not so. And so with money, with content, and with women, the the need isn't there. And while the want is there, the want isn't a strong enough driver to actually push me to do any of to do the things that I want to do. So anyway, that's I said a lot of stuff, but that's where when I look at this chart and I see that 71% turbulent, I'm like, yeah, I valid. Not that I needed any of that those ideas validated, but that's like bam, that's like kind of a more objective measure, to see how things have changed, but how they've kind of returned to where they were at. It was interesting. Oh wait, sorry. January 2022 was not when I was in Russia. That was this year. Okay, yeah, this year. Oh shit. Well, I fucking really fucked that up. Well, if I reevaluate, what time is it? I don't know. Do I want to re-record? Okay, no, we're not gonna re-record. Well, okay. So January 2020. Yeah, this probably matched me when I was thinking of January 2020. This would have matched me January 2020. Damn it. And well, this even validates. It's a little bit annoying and it's dumb. This is why, why I feel like I regret. I say regret. I hate that word. But why I look back at like leaving that job and I'm like shit, because while I was still processing all of the things that I was doing, I had a strong idea of what I wanted to do at that last job. I had a strong idea. I was just gonna make money and make content, travel around, and just indefinitely just keep going, make money, make content. All the extra money is going into rompers. All the extra money is, we'll continue to make content. And then that video blew up. Oh my God, fuck that video, man. I almost wish that video hadn't blown up, because I was doing well mentally. I was really doing great. And I was still doing great really up until like a couple months ago, where I realized like I was kind of out of options. Oh, man, January 2022. This is healthy. This is healthy Simon right here. This is healthy Simon. Extroverted, thinking, living in the moment, and confident. Yeah, and that's where we're at now. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting world kind of returning. It's going to be an interesting world getting back into, figuring out what my way is to get back into the level of comfort and the level of confidence that I had before when this year started. It's going to be an interesting journey to get back into that place. I have a plan. I think going to Russia is a good. I think that going to Russia really will increase my leverage from a social standpoint. And then with my skills that I've with the skills that I've developed and the skills that I've had, I think, and some of the work ethic that I've been able to develop over that I'm right now developing and hopefully will have developed over in the 6 months leading up to dipping. I think I'll be able to get back to that place. And then, really just orient myself around. Listen, every day I gotta go to work. Every day I gotta go to work. And then when I get off of work, record content, edit content, keep it going. Just have and just go through the motions and do what I need to do on the platforms where I need to do it. And not get too sidetracked by, I'm not gonna quit my English teaching job over there because I would be really fucked and I would be really stuck. Unless something really, really, really blew up. And even then, learning from this crazy situation, man, you really have to have those other streams of income locked down. And then even for Russia, if I'm over there, I got to have another visa. I got to have another way to get back in the country locked down. Yeah, so that's it. I thought it was very interesting. I would definitely recommend to people, get in there, take this test. They recommend retaking this test every 6 months or so. I definitely recommend people, look into it. And I know that this test has gotten some criticism to some extent. I don't know how scientific, blah blah blah, but I think it's question based. I think it's based on something, and I think it can help kind of orient yourself in the world. I don't believe in the fucking astrology and all that bullshit. It's literally based on stars and shit. This is like based on your actual personality. You're based on how you answer all these different questions. And I think it is interesting. And so I hope to, I've taken a step back right here, and I've become I've gone from intuitive living in the moment to observant. Majority observant, where it's like taking a step back. Life is turbulent, and I question. I'm still thinking, right? It's even increased my analysis of things. My nature, as far as thinking has increased, and there's just a lot of evaluation as to what the best next steps are for me. I think they are abroad. I think they are elsewhere in the world. I think they are rooted in content, rooted in community, rooted in creative, and to whatever extent the solidity of something, whether that's one job that somebody else has created and funnels me money, or whether that's something that eventually I'm able to create for myself. So go take the 16 personality test. It's a cool ass little test, and every 6 months or so, retake that bitch. See where you're at, and see where you're going. I don't read too much into the actual names of the different personalities. I think it's more interesting to delve into the different categories here. Extroversion versus introversion, intuitiveness versus observance, thinking versus I think it was prospecting versus judging, thinking versus, I guess it's feeling. And then how strong you are in the identity that you've not chosen. Yeah, chosen. How strong, how confident, how in the moment are you in the identity that you've chosen. And maybe this is something for me to even take into account. Like, maybe the kind of creator life isn't for me. Maybe it is too topsy-turvy. It is too unbased for me to feel completely comfortable and for me to work at my best level. Maybe it is. And, that's something interesting. I was creating back in this time period as well, back in January 2022. So it's a lot of interest. It's all interesting. It's all interesting.